Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I offer my humble obeisance unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayet. Before reciting Srimad Bhagvatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisance unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto Narada Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author of Srimad Bhagavatam. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in the classes on Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the Personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Gurave Gaurachandraye Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna, dear Vaishnavas, thank you so much for joining. We are reading Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 6. Prahlad Maharaj instructs his demoniac schoolmates. So we read till text number 26 yesterday, and we were discussing that how Prahlad Maharaj is saying that we should not ask for material things from the Lord, but approach the lotus feet of the Lord in the unalloyed devotion, that is the highest. And all these dharma, artha, kama, etc. are secondary. And we also read that he is encouraging the demoniac schoolmates to give up this I, me, mine, friend, enemy mentality, but consider everyone as their friend, and therefore preach the message of Krishna consciousness. So let's study the next verse, text 27. Jnanam tat etat amalam durvapam narayano narasakha kilan naradaya ekantinam bhagavatastad akinchananam padaravinda rajaspluta dehinam syat. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the well-wisher and friend of all living entities, formerly explained this transcendental knowledge to the great saint Narada. Such knowledge is extremely difficult to understand without the mercy of a saintly person like Narada. But everyone who has taken shelter of Narada's disciplic succession can understand this confidential knowledge. Purport. It is stated here that this confidential knowledge is extremely difficult to understand, yet it is very easy to understand if one takes shelter of a pure devotee. This confidential knowledge is also mentioned at the end of the Bhagavad Gita, where the Lord says, Sarva dharmana parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. This knowledge is an extremely confidential secret, but it can be understood if one approaches the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the bona fide agent, the spiritual master, the disciplic succession from Narada. Prahlad Maharaj wanted to impress upon the sons of the demons that although such knowledge can be understood only by a saintly person like Narada, they should not be disappointed. For if one takes the shelter of Narada instead of material teachers, this knowledge is possible to understand. Understanding does not depend upon high parentage. The living entity is certainly pure on the spiritual platform, And therefore, anyone who attains the spiritual platform by the grace of the spiritual master can also understand the confidential knowledge. Hare Krishna, dear Vaishnavas, thank you. So in this purport, Shri Prahlad Maharaj is explaining the importance of accepting a spiritual master who is coming in the parampara. So as we know, actually, Brahma Madhava Gaudiya Sampradaya, which ISKCON comes in, actually we are also in the same parampara, where Krishna gave this knowledge to Brahma and then to Narada, and from then to different acharyas, Madhvacharya, etc., then Lord Chaitanya, then our dear Srila Prabhupada. So we are also following the same parampara. So this bhakti is not a material subject that one can just understand by one's own speculation or by one's own high parentage, or I have PhD degree, I have master's degree, I am very intelligent, my IQ is very high. No, that's not the criteria. Oh, I'm very wealthy, that's also not the criteria. Oh, I have high parentage. No, all those things are not the right criteria to understand this Gohyatam Gyan, this most confidential secret. What is the right qualification? To accept a bona fide spiritual master. Then this most difficult thing will become very easy. It's a very nice verse, and always it is nice to remember whenever you feel you are going through a difficult time, whenever you feel you are about to do something which is difficult according to us. I always try to remember this Kathanchana smrite yasmin dushkaram sukaram bhavet vismrite viparitam syat Shri Chaitanya namamitam. Kathanchana smrite yasmin. Somehow or the other, if one remembers smarana, smrite yasmin dushkaram sukaram bhavet, by remembering Lord Chaitanya, by remembering the spiritual master, as we have already read, there is nothing unimaginable. We read in text number 25, nothing is unobtainable for devotees who have satisfied the Supreme Lord. So dushkaram sukaram bhavet, very difficult task becomes sukaram, easy. And viparite vismritam syat, when we forget vismaran, when we forget Lord Chaitanya, when we forget Guru, when we think, oh, I'll do on my own, then opposite happens. Vismrite viparitam syat, viparit hota. Viparit means opposite. Shri Chaitanya, and to that Lord I remember. So by remembering Krishna at all times, the difficult things become easy. By remembering spiritual master at all times, and therefore, before the class, after the class, before any service, before chanting, we should remember spiritual master and Lord Chaitanya, Lord Krishna every time. And therefore this mantra actually, Guruve Gaurachandraye Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namah. Everyone can try to learn this mantra. This is a condensed form of the entire Mangalacharan. That I offer my respects to Guru Gaurachandraye, Guruve Gaurachandraye, unto Lord Chaitanya, Guruve Gaurachandraye, Radhikaya Tadalaye, unto Sri Radhika, the internal pleasure potency, Tad Alaye, and remembering Alaye means home, their home. Krishna's beautiful home, Vrindavan Dham, Mayapur Dham, Govardhan, all these wonderful pastimes where these places where Krishna performed the pastimes. Barsana Dham, Radhika's Alye, Tad Alay, Krishnaya, unto Lord Krishna, Krishna Bhaktaya, unto his devotees, Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namah, unto the devotees of his devotees. So basically this mantra is so sweet, because everyone can try to learn and repeat it like at least 10 times a day. So we are remembering, and just after getting up, just before sleeping, before cooking, before chanting, before driving, before in the office, we can remember 10 times. So it's so easy. It only takes 10 seconds. So the main point here is back to difficult things becomes easy when one takes shelter of the spiritual master, pure spiritual master. speak this verse, Mukam karoti vachalam, Pangum langyate girim. A lame person who cannot even walk can cross over the mountain. Tat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurun Dinatharinam, by the mercy of the spiritual master. So, any other comments anyone has?
Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Where is that verse from? Kathanchana, the verse you chanted. Can you please post this verse?
Yes, I will post that verse. That verse is from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. I'll post the other one also, Gurave Gaurachandraya. That is condensed Mangalacharan. You can try to learn that one also.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, this is Raghunandan Das. Thank you for explaining very nicely the importance of taking shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. And especially the bona fide spiritual master is one who comes from the disciplic succession from Narada. So thank you for mentioning that. Another thing that I found very interesting in the verse is the word akinchananam. And Prabhupada translates it in the word-for-word translation, who do not claim any material possessions. And way back in Canto 1, Queen Kunti uses a similar term, akinchana gocharam, one who is completely depleted of material possessions. So I thought that it was a very good connection between what Queen Kunti was saying and what Prahlad Maharaj is saying here.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. That's so true. In fact, Queen Kunti says that verse in 2 verses actually. That's a very nice connection. And before also we saw that connection, the covering of the curtain of Maya for the Muras or the atheistics. So all the great souls are completely aligned. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, let's read the next verse. Raghunandan Prabhu, you want to read, please?
Sure, Prabhu. Text 28. Shrutam etan maya purvam jnanam vijnana samyutam dharmam bhagavatam shuddham narada deva darshanat. Translation. Prahlad Maharaj continued. I received this knowledge from the great saint Narada Muni, who is always engaged in devotional service. This knowledge, which is called Bhagavata Dharma, is fully scientific. It is based on logic and philosophy and is free from all material contamination. So, Prahlad Maharaj, like a real bona fide disciple and a bona fide student, is saying how he came into possession of this knowledge that he is sharing with his friends. He said, I got this knowledge from the great saint Narada Muni. And he also mentions a very important point. Normally, like in the modern society, it is people just speak things, but they do something else. But Narada Muni and all these elevated saintly personalities, they speak and they walk their talk. So Narada Muni was always engaged in devotional service. So that's what makes them acharyas, because they are not just doing prachar, but they are also following achar, practicing it. So prachar is just speaking. A parrot also can repeat the words and whatever it has been trained to recite. It can, hey, a parrot speak it, then it will keep speaking it. So that is not the intention. We also receive the knowledge from a bona fide spiritual personality and understand that knowledge and also practice it to the best of our capacity every day. And Narada Muni was always engaged in devotional service. And this knowledge is classified as Bhagavata Dharma, and fully scientific, fully logical, and has philosophy. It's not like just mere sentimentalism. Because normally there is some conception among certain groups of people in the world today that bhakti is just sentimentalism. And even during the times of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that was prevalent. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used logic, reasoning, philosophy, and great in-depth knowledge even when he was having a debate with Chandkasi, and when he was having a discourse with the Mayavada scholar Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who then becomes a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord after hearing Vedanta Sutra explanations from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Bhagavata Dharma is very precise, logical, and has philosophy, and it's very scientific. So Prabhupada used those terminologies when he was conversing with everybody when he was traveling all over the world. He said, this is a scientific process, this is a scientific process. Many times in his talks and conversations, we will hear that he mentioning that. He was not just making it up or just to convince somebody. It's right there in Srimad Bhagavatam in this verse. It's scientific process, it's logical, it has philosophy and much more. So that Prahlad Maharaj is emphasizing the importance of this knowledge. Just don't take it as sentimentalism. To his saying it to his friends. No, it's not. Even they might have many esoteric concepts there, but still it's grounded on solid knowledge, which is scientific, logical, and philosophical. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very nice. Okay. Any other comments before we move on to the last two verses of this chapter? Okay. Vilas Prabhu, you want to read?
Yes, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam everyone. Text 29 and 30. Sri Daityaputra Uchu Prahlad Tvam Vayam Chapi Nartenyam Vidmahe Gurum Etabhyam Guru Putrabhyam Balanam Api Hishwarao Balasyan Purastasyam Mahat Sango Duranvaya Chindina Samsayam Saumya Shyamchid Visrabha Karanam. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The sons of the demons replied, Dear Prahlada, neither you nor we know any teacher or spiritual master other than Sanda and Amarka, the sons of Sukracharya. After all, we are children and they our controllers. For you especially, who always remain within the palace, it is very difficult to associate with a great personality. Dear friend, most gentle one, would you kindly explain how it was possible for you to hear Narada? Kindly dispel our doubts in this regard. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 7th canto, 6th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Prahlada Instructs His Demoniac Classmates. So we see here that Prahlad Maharaj's classmates or schoolmates are very inquisitive now that Prahlad Maharaj has given them the most confidential knowledge of devotional service and Krishna or Vishnu being the Supreme Personality of Godhead. and they want to know how Prahlad Maharaja came in the association of Narada Muni, because in the previous verse, Prahlad Maharaj has disclosed how he got this knowledge, and they cannot understand how Prahlad Maharaj got the association of such a pure devotee, because they are always in the shelter of their demoniac parents or with these so-called Brahmana teachers, Sanda and Amarka, sons of Sukracharya, and they're only teaching the materialism, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, but nothing related to devotional service. So they're very curious how Prahlad Maharaja got association of Narada. Thank you, Prabhuji. Please, if you'd like to add or correct.
Thank you so much. These friends are asking very appropriate question. Because the whole day you are with us and the kingdom, Narada Muni doesn't go. It's a very interesting question. It's a good sign to ask genuine question. And they were hearing from Prahlad Maharaj, so certainly the heart becomes pure. Okay. So this brings us to the end of this chapter. Any comments or questions one has? Actually, we haven't done the summary of the previous chapter also, and we haven't done the summary of this chapter also, which we just completed. So I would say let's, like today and tomorrow will give us sufficient time, because tomorrow it's in the evening. So I hope between today and tomorrow we all will get sufficient time to ruminate this both chapters. A lot of important instructions are there in these two chapters about Prahlad Maharaj, and then tomorrow we plan to take those reflections and some summary. Is that okay? Anyone has any questions before we move to the next chapter? Okay. And just in the interest of time, so that since we are covering two chapters tomorrow, what I will do, I will record the summary beforehand. So, and if you get chance, you can hear, and in the tomorrow's session we will just take some reflection, some key points, so everyone can get chance to speak. Because if we cover two chapters, each summary will take about 15 minutes, then others may not get chance. So I'm thinking I'll record it beforehand, so the devotees can also get chance to speak and share the key points they liked. Okay, let's read the next chapter, chapter 7. What did Prahlad Maharaj, what Prahlad learned in the womb? So, see how Bhagavatam, ends with a question, and next chapter opens with this question. Similarly, if we observe chapter 5, it also ended in a kind of a question, or when they went, the teachers went to do them household chores, then Prahlad Maharaj started to speak. What he started to speak, the whole chapter 6 comes. So let's see what he learned from Narada Muni and how he learned, where he learned. All that we will discuss in this chapter. Okay, so Sundari Priya Mataji, you want to read the summary?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Chapter 7, What Prahlad Learned in the Womb. In this chapter, to dissipate the doubts of his class friends, the sons of the demons, Prahlad Maharaj states how within the womb of his mother he had heard from the mouth of Narada Muni, who had instructed him in Bhagavad Dharma. When Hiranyakashipu left his kingdom and went to the mountain known as Mandrachala to execute severe austerities, all the demons scattered. Hiranyakashipu's wife, Kayadu, was pregnant at that time, and the demigods, mistakenly thinking that she carried another demon in her womb, arrested her. Their plan was that as soon as the child took birth, they would kill him. While they were taking Kayadu to the heavenly planets, they met Narad Muni, who stopped them from taking her away and took her to his ashram until Hiranyakashipu's return. In Narad Muni's ashram, Kayadu prayed for the protection of the baby in her womb, and Narad Muni assured her and gave her instructions on spiritual knowledge. Taking advantage of those instructions, Prahlad Maharaj, although a small baby within the womb, listened very carefully. The spirit soul is always apart from the material body. There is no change in the spiritual form of the living entity. Any person above the bodily conception of life is pure and can receive transcendental knowledge. This transcendental knowledge is devotional service, and Prahlad Maharaj, while living in the womb of his mother, received instructions in devotional service from Narad Muni. Any person engaged in the service of the Lord through the instructions of a bona fide spiritual master is immediately liberated, and being free from the clutches of Maya, he is relieved of all ignorance and material desires. The duty of everyone is to take shelter of the Supreme Lord and thus become free from all material desires, regardless of the material condition in which one is situated. One can achieve this perfection. Devotional service is not dependent on the material activities of austerity, penance, mystic yoga, or piety. Even without such assets, one can achieve devotional service through the mercy of a pure devotee. Jai. So here we see how the questions of his demonic friends was answered. He is being answered in this whole chapter. That Prahlad Maharaj learned this. They were very doubtful, like how can we even come in contact with a pure devotee, and how can we learn this dharma? And Prahlad Maharaj, when he was in the womb of his mother, Hiranyakashipu's wife was Kayadu, and when she was pregnant, the demigods were mistakenly, they were trying to take her away and kill the child so that at least their progeny doesn't spread, and so Narad Muni, being the perfect saint, he stopped them, and he took her to the ashram. By the time Hiranyakashipu returned back, and he at that wonderful time she heard so much personal knowledge, and the baby Prahlad Maharaj, he listened very carefully in the womb. So what we can understand that is there is the earliest time is never perfect. So even when the baby is in the womb, it is actually a soul praying, and the most perfect time for mothers to really listen to transcendental knowledge and enrich that. Even in scientifically, it has proven that in materially people sing to their babies. That is, where has all that come from? Is from these wonderful examples in our shastras, that this is really the significance that the soul is present, and we have to be very that's the earliest when we can receive that transcendental knowledge. And Prahlad Maharaj was he was so attentive even at that time, because he got the mercy of Narad Muni. Even a demonic person can completely change, and that's the beauty of getting instruction from a bona fide spiritual master, is that one gets free from the clutches of Maya, one is fully liberated, and that hearing starts from the womb itself. And we have to as we come out, we start living our conditioned life, where we have to go back and see that Krishna's given that service of hearing, that if all of us take that very seriously, how we can be saved from this clutches of Maya. And the devotional service is actually it really doesn't matter how many vrats we do, how many fasting, how many parikramas we do, what kind of different pious activities do. But the ultimate, those things are all good if they bring us to goodness. But the ultimate perfection is getting a mercy of a spiritual master in the disciplic succession. And like Prabhuji explained earlier, that unless without the mercy of a pure devotee, we have no choice. One time Srila Prabhupada was asked by his disciples, and they said, Prabhupada, this knowledge is so rich and so enlightening. What is our qualification that we are getting all this knowledge? And Prabhupada said, you have no qualification. I made you qualified. So Prabhupada always just simply came to the chase, and he cut the doubt that, I am so blessed, I'm so pious, I am so, I was born in this family, that family. We make these illusions, but ultimately, bottom line is that unless our spiritual master opens our eyes and opens our ears, we cannot even understand. We are so contaminated, and that's why that is the beauty. And let's understand together, wow, what happened in the womb, and how Prahlad Maharaj, such a beautiful chapter. So I look forward to everybody's reflection. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Please add.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Okay, let's dive into this chapter, in this pool of ecstasy of Srimad Bhagavatam. Would someone like to start? Text 1. Who didn't get?
I would
yes,
like to
please.
start. Dandavat pranams to all the assembled devotees. Text 1. Narada Muni said, Shri Narada uvacha evam daityasutaihi prishto Maha Bhagavato surah uvacha tam smaymanah smaran madanubhashitam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Narada Muni said, although Prahlad Maharaj was born in a family of asuras, he was the greatest of all devotees. Having thus been questioned by his class friends, the sons of the asuras, he remembered the words spoken to him by me and replied to his friends as follows. When he was in the womb of his mother, Prahlad Maharaj listened to the words of Narada Muni. One cannot imagine how the baby in embryo could hear Narada, but this is spiritual life. Progress in spiritual life cannot be obstructed by any material condition. This is called ahaituki apratihata. Reception of spiritual knowledge is never checked by any material condition. Thus, Prahlad Maharaj from his very childhood spoke spiritual knowledge to his class friends, and certainly it was effective, although all of them were children. So this is one of the most important Shastric reference of the importance of what the mother is doing that affects the consciousness of the baby within the womb. So here Narada Muni's spiritual knowledge is not only received by the mother but also the baby Prahlad, and that's how he got this spiritual knowledge, and he's able to tell it to his class friends. That is my understanding, Prabhuji. Over to you for more elaboration. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you. I really like this word, Maha Bhagavatah. So, the Guru is telling that my disciple is a Maha Bhagavatah. Narada Muni is speaking this verse, and he is speaking that my disciple, it's not that because he's my disciple, but he was such a genuine, pure devotee. Because what is the likelihood? We say, oh, I don't have favorable environment around me. So this is, Prahlad Maharaj is a classic example of not having favorable environment around him. But he was always remembering, imagine, one's own father trying to kill, one's own friends are demoniac, one's own, there is no support practically. So But still, he was always Krishna conscious. His Guru is saying he's a Maha Bhagavatah. So great lesson for us. We may not be in that difficult environment. No one is throwing us off the cliff. No one is putting us in the bed of venomous snakes. But whatever little challenges we have, which are much smaller than what Prahlad Maharaj had gone through, we can still try to be Krishna conscious. That will please Guru Maharaj. That will please Prabhupada. That look at my child. In spite of so many hardships, he or she is trying very sincerely. They will be happy, even though they may be physically away. Then, as Mataji said, that the child is, is like a sponge. Children are like sponge. Whatever the mother goes through, the children get that. Especially in this tender age, which starts right from conception. And there are many examples. Ashwatthama, Abhimanyu, he also learnt the warfare to go in the Chakravyuh, in the womb of the mother. And there are multiple examples. So it's not that the mother can do anything, and because everyone expects that the child to be great, but very few are willing to pay the price of sincerity, the price of being a sincere devotee oneself. If parents show by their example, then children will certainly become great devotees. But if parents prioritize TV, then children will also do the same. Okay, any other comments or questions so far?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I have a comment. Another thing that I found very inspiring in this verse is Prahlad Maharaj remembered the words spoken by his spiritual master, Narada Muni, before he replied to his friends. So we see this practice being followed by all these elevated personalities. Even Sutta Goswami, when the sages at Naimisharanya, they ask him questions, before he starts replying, he remembers Shukadev Goswami, because from him he learned the most important transcendental knowledge, Srimad Bhagvatam. So he remembers his Guru, the words of his Guru. And here Prahlad Maharaj is also remembering the words of his Guru. So it's a classic instruction for me, where I have to constantly remember the words, the instructions of my Guru. And especially like when I am sharing Krishna consciousness with others and they are asking me questions or some discussions like that, I should always fix my consciousness on the words and the instructions of my Guru before I start responding. That's my foremost duty as a disciple. Otherwise, I might get caught up in the material energy and become puffed up with pride that I know so much and all the stuff, unnecessary stuff that comes in along with that. So I thought that particular sentence was very instructional. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very nice. Okay, let's see what Prahlad Maharaj spoke. Would someone like to read text 2?
I can read, Prabhu. Shri Prahlado Uvacha Pitere Prasthithi Smakham Tapasve Mandarachalam Yuddhobhayam Param Chakrur Vibuddha Danavan Prati. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Prahlad Maharaj said, when our father Hiranyakashipu went to Mandarachala mountains to execute severe austerities. In his absence, the demigods, headed by King Indra, made a severe attempt to subdue all the demons in warfare. Thank you, Guru. Please explain.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So, I think it will come in the following verses that King Indra thought Hiranyakashipu is going for tapasya, and his son would also be a demon like him. So he made this plan, a severe attempt to subdue the demons. So will come what that attempt was. I'm not going to jump up. So let's move. I think it is very straightforward. Indra always has this insecurity, and we have seen in multiple places in the Srimad Bhagavatam how he does everything in his control to remove his insecurities. Whether it is Prahlad Maharaj or earlier we read about so many other examples as well. So let's see what that attempt was to. Okay, text number 3. Manjulali wants to read.
Hi Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. Pipilikir ahir eva dishtyaloko tapana papena papo papshati vadanto vasavadaya. Translation: Alas, as a serpent is eaten by small ants, so the troublesome Hiranyakashipu, who always inflicted miseries upon all types of people, has now been defeated by the reactions of his own sinful activities. Saying this, the demigods, headed by King Indra, arranged to fight the demons.
Okay, so again this is very straightforward, that King Indra headed to fight with the demons. A serpent is eaten by small ants, so the troublesome Hiranyakashipu is always inflicted miseries upon all types of people, has now been defeated by the reactions of his own sinful activities. So Indra said this and moved on to kill or fight with the demons. Any other comments in this text?
I had 2 comments. One is as a military strategy, it's a sound strategy to defeat the demons when they are relatively weak. But at the same time, the thinking of Indra reveals certain rationalization. Okay, I'm going to take this action, and it's because of this reason I am doing this. It's something like that. Not like finding fault with Indra, but like it as a conditioned living being existing in this material world. I also go through so many situations and think something like, oh, because of this, it's justifiable for me to behave like this with others and so on. So I found that interesting.
Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, let's read the next 2 verses. Would someone like to read who has not read today?
I can read, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Text 4 and 5. Teshamapi bolodhyokyam nishamya sura yuthapa vadhyamanam sure bhita द्रुद्रवो सर्वतो दशम् कलत्रा पुत्र वित्वाप्तन् ग्रहं पासु परिच्छदन नावेक्ष मानसरितां सर्वे प्राणपरिस्पसव. Translation: When the great leaders of the demons who were being killed one after another saw the unprecedented exertion of the demigods in fighting, they began to flee, scattering themselves in all directions. Simply to protect their lives, they hastily fled from their homes, wives, children, animals, and household paraphernalia. Paying no heed to all these, the demons simply fled. So again, it's very simple. Prahlad Maharaj is explaining what exactly happened till the fighting started, and the demons cannot take any more the exertion from these demigods, so they started scattering and getting flee one by one when their leaders started getting killed. So they were fleeing in all the directions. Thank you. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Back to you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So the demigods headed by Indra took this advantage of this whole situation, that because Hiranyakashipu had really tortured them a lot. We discussed that he was chastising them for no reason. They were serving with their own hands. Oh, great Hiranyakashipu, this is for you. Like waiter, servant. And now was the time to take revenge. So they attacked, knowing that Hiranyakashipu is not there, and knowing that they could defeat the rest of the demons besides Hiranyakashipu, which they did in this situation. And as a result, everyone was, moving in different directions, running for their lives. So very straightforward. Any comments or questions? Okay, next verse. Renuka Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yes. Vyalumpan rajasibiram amarajaya kankshinaha indrastu raja mahishim mataram mama chagrahit. Translation: The victorious demigods plundered the palace of Hiranyakashipu, the king of the demigods, and destroyed everything within it. Then Indra, king of heaven, arrested my mother, the queen. Thank you, Prabhuji.
So as you see, there is no purport to these verses. These are more like a storyline. Prahlad Maharaj is now telling the story. He remembers everything. Of course, he is the Acharya of Smaranam. We don't remember what happened to us when we were in the womb, but Prahlad Maharaj certainly remembers. And so it is totally bona fide, as we have discussed again, that the child is getting the impressions, and that's what samskara is called. Samskara means to give good impressions. So the child in the womb remembers that how the demons were attacked and destroyed, and then later they took the mother Kayadu. So Indra arrested the mother. The child is seeing all this, or through his spiritual senses. Although he's inside, he knows what's going outside also. Okay, next verse. Sujoya Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Text 7. Nittamanam bhaya udvignam rudantim kurarim ivam yadrachaya agasat tatra devarshi dadrasi pasihi. Translation by Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. As she was being led away, crying near fear like a kurari captured by a vulture, the great sage Narada, who at that time had no engagement, appeared on the scene and saw her in that condition. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. So Mother Kayadu is captured like a vulture captures Kurari bird. So she's in a very helpless state because there is no, the husband who was the strength is out doing tapasya in Mandrachal mountain, and the other demons have fled in different directions, so she couldn't do, and she is carrying a baby also, who is narrating this whole story, so in a very helpless situation. And then comes the transcendental messenger of the Supreme Lord, Narada Muni. The word used is who had no engagement, because from, he is given a curse. He will not stay at one place, which is actually a blessing. But the only reason which we have discussed multiple times, Narada Muni facilitates Lord's pastimes. So from nowhere he appeared on the scene and saw this whole scene that Indra and demons are trying to arrest the mother. So let's see what happens next. Would someone like to read text 8 who has not read?
Yes, Prabhuji, I can read. Hare Krishna. Praha Nainam Surapate Netum Ha Syanaga Sam Mucha Mucha Mahabhaga Satim Pariparigraha Paraparigraham. Narad Muni said, O Indra, king of the demigods, this woman is certainly sinless. You should not drag her off in this merciless way. O greatly fortunate one, this is such woman is the wife of another. You must immediately release her. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. So Narad Muni, it's very straightforward what Narad Muni said to Indra, that do not do this activity to steal someone else's wife, and in the absence of the husband, it is very, very sinful. So this chaste woman, the woman was chaste. Same is said for Mandodari. Although she was the wife of Ravana, but she is said to be one of the most chaste ladies, and that is the foremost quality of a good woman, chastity towards the husband. So the husband was doing wrong things. That's a different story. But this woman is sinless. That's Narad Muni's words. So Narad Muni is saying Indra to not do this sinful act and just release her. Whether he listened or didn't listen, let's see whether Indra heard the voice or ignored the words of Narada. Would someone like to read text 9?
Prabhuji, I would like to read. Text 9. Sri Indra Uvacha Aste Saya Jathare Viryam Avishahayam Suradvishaha Ashitam Yavat Prasavam Mokshartha Padavim Gataha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
King Indra said, "In the womb of this woman, the wife of the demon Hiranyakashipu, is the seed of that great demon. Therefore, let her remain in our custody until her child is delivered, and then we shall release her." Purport: Indra, the king of heaven, decided to arrest Prahlad Maharaj's mother because he thought that another demon, another Hiranyakashipu, was within her womb. The best course, he thought, was to kill the child when the child was born, and then the woman would be released. So here King Indra, thinking that the womb is of Hiranyakashipu in his wife Kayadu's womb, the another demon is growing. So that's why he wanted to kill that child. So now it's come in my mind about Kangsha, how he also arrested his own sister Devotee because of Krishna. So that's a different aspect because he wants to kill Krishna, Kangsha. So, but it's a similar situation comes like Devotee is also arrested in a jail by Kangsha. And here Mata Kayadu is also going to have the same situation by King Indra. Back to you, Prabhuji.
A few points which I like to bring attention in this. So King Indra explained the reason behind he's trying to arrest Kayadu. So one thing which he said is which I like the point that until the child is delivered, we will keep her in our custody and then we'll release her, because we don't have any fear from the woman, the mother, but a child would be disaster for us. So one thing, it is said that killing the child in the womb is a much bigger sin than killing outside actually. But in the world, people think it to be totally opposite, because they don't even think that killing the child in the womb, and now they have given a fancy name. They don't say abortion. Maybe some doctor can help me. They give it a very fancy name so it doesn't seem like it is bad. Can you tell me what they call in recent? What they call? Medical termination of pregnancy. They say it a very fancy name. But actually it is killing the child in the womb when the parents make this choice. If it is beyond the choice of the parents, it's a different story. But if it is done willfully, then it is not very good. It is said that even Putana, she was not killing the children in the womb, she was killing the children outside. So killing the children inside the womb is even worse than Putana. Sorry to say, I just opened that page. This is 2016 statistics. 600,000 people, 600 abortions were done in US alone. There's 600,000 abortions in US alone in 1 year. Can we imagine? That's a big number. And therefore, so many sins are happening. This is a very, very grossly sinful activity. That's point number one. Then number two, Indra has done that previously also, or tried to do. We just read the story of the Maruthas trying to kill. When he find the fault in the Diti, who was doing the Pumsavana Vrata, he cut the embryo in 7, and 7 times 7, and 49 Maruthas were born. Later, because Indra served Diti was serving Vishnu, they both got purified, and then the outcome was good. 49 devotees were born who went back to Indra as brothers. But Indra, it's not the first time he is feeling so insecure, which we know that whenever we talk about great devotees, we talk about Prahlad Maharaj, we talk about Narada Muni. Indra is a devotee, is special to the Lord, but not in the way like great selfless devotees who were completely dependent. Did Prahlad Maharaj do something? Oh, Hiranyakashipu was the one who was trying to kill him here. Oh, Nrsimhadev gave him such a punishment that the world has never seen. Prahlad Maharaj prayed for his father. But here, Indra doesn't want more enemies. He said already his father is troubling us so much. One more Hiranyakashipu, too much to handle. So let's try to kill the child, not the woman, because of course she won't fight with us. But the child will make cause havoc in our lives, because he is the son of Hiranyakashipu, or he would be the son of Hiranyakashipu. Any other comments or questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I have some comments. So in the scenario when Indra was dragging Mother Kayadu, Narad Muni appeared there and he instructed Indra. And in the same case when Dushasana was dragging Mother Draupadi, Krishna himself came and protected Mother Draupadi. Similarly here Narad Muni appeared. So when the dharma is on the bad path, because they were doing both adharma, so in order to protect the woman, Krishna appeared in the form of spiritual master as a Narad Muni, and he himself appeared to protect them. So that's what I wanted to add. Thank you, Prabhu.
It's a very nice reflection. Thank you, Mataji. Anyone else before we stop?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, please.
No, while you were talking about the killing of babe in the womb, like abortion, I remember a scenario where after the Maha Bhagavatah Yuddha, that Ashwatthama was planning to kill the kids of Pandava. But when he decided to kill the baby in the womb of Uttara, like Parishit, Krishna was more worried. And I remember that's when Krishna gave him the, I don't know, it's a curse or something. He gave that he will not have death. So I just remember that, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. That's very nice. Yes, that's a famous prayer of Uttara Pahi Pahi Mahayogin Deva Deva Jagatpate. When the Brahmastra of Ashwatthama was coming towards Uttara, then Krishna enters the womb of Uttara and protects. And that darshan which the child in the womb had was the darshan of the Supreme Lord in the form of that transcendental chakra or protection. And therefore when he came out, his name is Parikshit, because he was doing pariksha. Throughout the life he was checking. Pariksha means to check or examine. He was examining who is that Supreme Lord whose darshan I had in my womb. So, yes, very, very sweet pastime, that how Lord protects his devotees. Okay, so as I said before, I will post the quiz for chapter 5 and chapter 6. Please attempt, share your scores. Also, please reread the translations. You can write some key lessons, share your reflections in the next class, that is tomorrow evening. Grantraj Srimad Bhagvatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaur Bhaktarinda ki jai. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.